Welcome to Audiobook Summaries, where we distill the wisdom of the world's most impactful books into powerful, easy-to-digest audio summaries. Today, we delve into a book that has fundamentally changed how millions approach self-improvement. Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones, by James Clear. If you have ever felt frustrated by a lack of progress, if you have set ambitious goals only to see them fade away after a few weeks, this message is for you. We often believe that massive success requires massive action. We convince ourselves that dramatic change is the only path to a better life. But James Clear offers a profoundly simple, yet revolutionary alternative. Tiny changes, consistently applied. This is the power of atomic habits. The core philosophy of this book can be summarized in a single, elegant idea. Getting 1% better every day. It sounds insignificant, doesn't it? What difference can a mere 1% improvement make? Clear argues that the difference is negligible in the short term, but absolutely monumental in the long run. Imagine improving by just 1% each day for an entire year. By the end of those 365 days, you won't be 365% better. You will be 37 times better than when you started. Conversely, if you get 1% worse each day, you will eventually regress almost to zero. This is the profound mathematical truth of self-improvement. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just as money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. The small choices you make today, the decision to read one extra page, to skip one unhealthy snack, to meditate for 1 minute, these are the atomic units that build the entire structure of your future self. One of the biggest reasons we give up on new habits is what Clear calls the plateau of latent potential. We start a new routine, going to the gym, learning a language, writing a book, and for weeks, we see no visible results. We feel like we are putting in the effort, but the needle isn't moving. This is the valley of disappointment where most people quit. Clear explains that progress is not linear, it is often a slow, gradual accumulation of small changes that seem to make no difference until you reach a critical threshold. A tipping point. Think of an ice cube. You can raise the temperature from 25 to 31 degrees, and nothing happens. But at 32 degrees, the ice melts. The work you did at 25, 28, and 31 degrees was not wasted. It was simply being stored. Your habits are the same. The initial effort is the invisible work that prepares you for the breakthrough. The key is to fall in love with the process, not the product. You must commit to the system, even when the results are not immediately visible. This leads us to the most crucial distinction in the book. Goals versus systems. A goal is about the result you want to achieve. I want to write a book. A system is about the process that leads to those results. I will write 500 words every day. Clear argues that if you want to predict your future, you should look at your current systems, not your current goals. If you completely ignore your goals and only focus on your system, will you still succeed? The answer is yes. The problem with goals is that they are a temporary fix. Once you hit a goal, you often revert to your old habits. When you focus on the system, the result becomes a natural consequence. Now, we turn our attention to the practical blueprint for building that system. The 4 laws of behavior change. James Clear provides a simple, 4-step model that governs every habit, good or bad. These steps are cue, craving, response, and reward. To build a good habit, we must make the cue, craving, response, and reward work for us. This leads us to the 4 simple laws. Make it obvious. Make it attractive. Make it easy. And make it satisfying. The first law is about awareness. Habits are often automatic, meaning we are rarely conscious of the cues that trigger them. To make a good habit obvious, use habit stacking. This involves pairing a new habit with an existing one. The formula is simple. After my current habit, I will do my new habit. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 60 seconds. This anchors the new behavior to a routine that is already automatic, eliminating the need for motivation. This is a powerful technique because the best way to start a new habit is to not rely on willpower, but to make the starting process automatic. To make this even more concrete, Clear introduces the implementation intention. This is a plan you make beforehand about when and where to act. The formula is, I will perform this behavior at this time in this location. For instance, I will exercise for 1 hour at 5 p.m. in the gym. This simple act of planning increases the likelihood of success by making the habit less vague and more tied to a specific time and place. The human brain is constantly looking for the next cue, and by clearly defining the time and location, you are essentially programming your brain to recognize the opportunity to act. This is the difference between saying I should read more and saying I will read for 20 minutes at 7 p.m. in the living room. The second statement is a clear instruction to your brain. Also, use environment design. Your environment is the invisible hand that shapes your behavior. If you want to practice guitar more often, don't keep it in the closet. Place it in the middle of your living room. If you want to eat healthier, leave a bowl of fruit on the counter and store the junk food out of sight. Make the cues for your good habits visible, and the cues for your bad habits invisible. To break a bad habit, you must make it invisible. If you are trying to watch less television, unplug the TV and put the remote in a drawer. The less you see the cue, the less likely you are to feel the craving. This is why self-control is often a poor strategy. We should not rely on our ability to resist temptation. We should instead design an environment where temptation is simply not present. The most disciplined people are often those who are best at avoiding situations that require immense willpower. The second law is about motivation. We are more likely to pursue habits that are attractive. To make a good habit attractive, use temptation bundling. This means pairing an action you need to do with an action you want to do. For example, I will only listen to my favorite podcast while I am exercising. This makes the required habit immediately more appealing because it is bundled with an instant reward. Clear also emphasizes the role of social influence. We naturally imitate the habits of 3 groups: the close, the many, and the powerful. If you want to build a new habit, join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. If you want to be fit, join a running club. If you want to be a better reader, join a book club. We absorb the norms of the groups we belong to. If your friends all smoke, the habit of smoking becomes attractive because it is a social ritual. If your friends all discuss books, reading becomes an attractive social ritual. The reason this works is rooted in the science of dopamine. Dopamine is not just released when we experience pleasure, it is released when we anticipate pleasure. The craving is the engine that drives the habit. By making the habit attractive, we increase the dopamine release during the anticipation phase, making us more likely to follow through. To break a bad habit, you must make it unattractive. This involves reframing your mindset. Instead of saying, I have to wake up early, say, I get to wake up early and have a peaceful hour to myself. For bad habits, focus on the long-term negative consequences. Make the outcome of the bad habit feel unattractive in the present moment. For instance, instead of thinking of a cigarette as a moment of relaxation, think of it as I am voluntarily inhaling toxins that will shorten my life. This reframing changes the anticipation from pleasure to pain. The third law is about friction. The less energy a habit requires, the more likely you are to do it. To make a good habit easy, use the 2-minute rule. Every habit can be scaled down to a 2-minute version. Read a book becomes read 1 page. Run 3 miles becomes put on my running shoes. The point is to master the art of showing up. Once you start, the momentum will often carry you forward. The first 2 minutes are the decisive moment that sets the trajectory for the next hour. This is because habits are often governed by decisive moments. These are the small choices that set the path for the rest of your day. The decisive moment is choosing to order a salad instead of a burger, or choosing to put on your running shoes instead of turning on the TV. Once the decisive moment is passed, the rest of the habit often flows naturally. Another powerful technique is preparation. Prepare your environment in advance. If you want to cook a healthy dinner, chop the vegetables the night before. If you want to work out, lay out your clothes and fill your water bottle before bed. Every extra step you remove from the process makes the habit easier to perform. This is the principle of the point of least resistance. We are naturally drawn to the option that requires the least amount of effort. By making your good habits the path of least resistance, you are essentially tricking your brain into choosing the right thing. To break a bad habit, you must make it difficult by increasing the friction. If you want to stop buying things online, unsubscribe from all marketing emails and delete your saved credit card information from your browser. Every extra step you add to the process acts as a deterrent. If it takes 10 minutes of effort to start a bad habit, you are far less likely to do it. The final law is about reinforcement. We are more likely to repeat a behavior when the experience is satisfying. The challenge with good habits is that their rewards are often delayed. Eating a salad today doesn't make you instantly thin. The reward is a long way off. To make a good habit satisfying, we need to find a way to give ourselves an immediate, small reward. This can be a visual measure of progress. If you are saving money, use a tracker to watch your balance grow. If you are exercising, use a physical calendar and put a big X on every day you complete your routine. This visual evidence of your progress is immediately satisfying. This is where the habit tracker becomes a powerful tool. It provides immediate, visual proof that you are making progress, which satisfies the brain's need for instant gratification. The simple act of marking an X on the calendar is a small, immediate reward that reinforces the habit loop. To break a bad habit, you must make it unsatisfying. This requires an immediate consequence. Clear suggests using a habit contract where you publicly commit to a habit and assign a penalty if you fail. Knowing that you will have to pay a friend $100 if you skip the gym provides an immediate, painful consequence that outweighs the temporary satisfaction of skipping the workout. The most important rule for maintaining habits is the never miss twice rule. If you miss one day, it's an accident. If you miss 2 days, it's the start of a new habit. The goal is not perfection, but consistency. When you miss a day, make sure you get back on track immediately, but there is one final layer to this philosophy. Identity-based habits. True, lasting change happens when you shift your belief about yourself. The goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal is not to write a book. The goal is to become a writer. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. If you sit down to write for 30 minutes, you are casting a vote for being a writer. If you choose a healthy meal, you are casting a vote for being a healthy person. The most effective way to change your habits is to focus not on what you want to achieve, but on who you want to be. Ask yourself, what would a healthy person do? Or what would a successful entrepreneur do? Then, simply act like that person. The habits follow the identity. Finally, Clear offers a critical warning. The downside of habits is that they can become automatic. Once a habit is mastered, you stop paying attention to it. This can lead to complacency and small errors that compound over time. To combat this, you must build in a system of reflection and review. Clear recommends a simple annual or semi-annual habit scorecard. Take time to review your systems. Are my current habits still serving my desired identity? Am I still making 1% improvements, or have I plateaued? What are the small, unnoticeable habits that are slowly dragging me down? The process of building habits is a continuous cycle of awareness, action, and adjustment. Atomic Habits is not a book about quick fixes. It is a manual for continuous self-improvement. It teaches us that the secret to getting results that last is to never stop making small, incremental changes. Remember. Focus on the system, not the goal. Fall in love with the process, not the product. And let your habits be a continuous vote for the person you want to become. If you found the wisdom in this summary valuable, please cast a vote for your own growth by subscribing to Resume Audiobook. We release new, in-depth audiobook summaries every week to help you master the world's best knowledge. Thank you for listening. Now, go build your atomic habits. Please like and subscribe. See you soon.